Listen closely, because this moment is quiet on purpose, and the quiet is where power hides, and most people miss it, because they are chasing noise and validation and touch without meaning and words, without truth and relationships without depth. And this is where everything begins, when you stop chasing and start choosing yourself, because the strongest attraction in the world is not desperation, it is restraint, and the strongest voice you will ever develop is silence used with intention. And if you can feel that tension already, then stay with me, because what follows is not comfort, it is clarity. And clarity changes everything in the American world of speed and screens and constant comparison. The modern relationship has become loud and rushed and hungry. And yet the Stoics taught that what is rushed is rarely strong, and what is loud is rarely deep. And when you understand this, you begin to see relationships differently, not as something to cling to, but as something to build from a place of inner order and self-command. And this is where silence first becomes seductive, because silence is not absence, it is presence under control. And when a man or a woman can sit in silence without anxiety, it signals something ancient, something trustworthy, something that says, I am not afraid to be alone with myself. And that energy travels farther than any clever line or forced smile. Stoicism never told us to kill desire, it taught us to master it. And this matters deeply in intimacy, because desire without mastery becomes need, and need repels while mastery attracts. And this is the part most people avoid, because it requires discipline and patience and restraint, especially in a culture that tells you to express everything immediately and say everything you feel and show every want. But the Stoic path whispers something different. It says, feel deeply, but choose carefully. And in relationships, this creates a tension that is felt in the body, a slow burn, a magnetic pull that grows because it is not rushed. And when two people meet from this place, intimacy becomes an extension of respect, not an escape from emptiness. Silence in a relationship is often misunderstood as distance or punishment. But in Stoic terms, silence is observation, it is space to see clearly. And when emotions rise and arguments tempt you to spill every thought, the Stoic pauses, and that pause changes the outcome, because most damage in relationships is done not by what we feel, but by what we say without control. And when you learn to hold your tongue, you begin to hold your power, and power is deeply attractive because it signals safety and strength and self-trust. And in the quiet moments between words, attraction often grows stronger, because imagination fills the space and anticipation builds, and intimacy becomes charged rather than exhausted. There is a truth few want to admit, that intimacy is not only physical, it is psychological, and the mind often reaches before the body. And Stoicism understands this because it teaches that our thoughts shape our emotions, and our emotions shape our actions. And when you can master your inner dialogue, you become calmer, more grounded, more deliberate. And that calm shows up in how you touch, how you look, how you listen, and even how you desire. And desire guided by calm becomes confident, and confidence without arrogance is irresistible. And this is where Stoic philosophy quietly transforms sex and connection into something deeper, something less frantic and more meaningful. In modern dating, many people speak too much too soon, revealing every fear and hope in an attempt to secure connection. But the Stoic understands that mystery is not manipulation, it is respect for timing. And when you allow things to unfold naturally, you honor both yourself and the other person, and this creates a rhythm where attraction grows steadily rather than spikes and crashes. And in this rhythm, silence becomes part of the dance, not a wall, but a pause. And those pauses are often where longing grows, because longing needs space. And when there is no space, there is no hunger, only consumption, and consumption without appreciation leads to emptiness. Stoicism teaches self-ownership. And in relationships, this means you do not outsource your worth to another person's attention. And when you stop doing that, something interesting happens. You become lighter, more relaxed, less anxious, and more present, and presence is felt instantly. It changes the tone of a room, it slows the breath, it deepens the eyes, and this presence carries into intimacy, because intimacy thrives when both people are fully there, not grasping, not performing, but experiencing. And this is where sex becomes less about proving and more about connecting. And that connection does not require explicit acts to be powerful. It is built through trust, eye contact, patience, and mutual respect. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you will be okay whether someone stays or leaves, and this is not coldness, it is freedom, and freedom allows you to love without fear and desire without desperation. And when you love from this place, you give fully without losing yourself, and this balance is rare and felt immediately, and it changes the dynamic, especially in male-female relationships, where insecurity often creates games and confusion. But when one person stands steady, the energy shifts, and the other feels it, sometimes without understanding why, and that feeling draws them closer, because humans are drawn to stability in a chaotic world. Stoicism does not deny pleasure, it simply refuses to be ruled by it, and this is important because pleasure chased blindly becomes addiction, while pleasure approached with awareness becomes enrichment. And in intimacy, this means slowing down, paying attention, and valuing the experience rather than rushing to the end. And when you slow down, everything intensifies because the mind stops racing and the senses wake up. And this creates a deeper, more memorable connection. And this is not about technique. It is about presence and intention, and the ability to stay grounded in the moment without distraction. Silence also teaches you to listen. Listening is one of the most overlooked forms of attraction because everyone wants to be heard and few are willing to truly hear. And when you listen without interrupting, without fixing, without judging, you create safety, and safety allows vulnerability, and vulnerability deepens intimacy, and this process cannot be rushed. It unfolds over time, and when it does, the bond formed is stronger than one built on constant excitement because it is rooted in understanding rather than stimulation. The Stoics spoke often about knowing what is within your control and releasing what is not, and in relationships this wisdom is essential because you cannot control another person's feelings, choices, or timing. And when you accept this, you stop trying to manage outcomes and start focusing on your own character, and this shift is powerful because character outlasts attraction based solely on appearance or novelty. And when someone senses that you are grounded in who you are, they feel more secure leaning into you, and this security feeds intimacy because it removes the fear of instability. There is also a Stoic beauty in restraint, in knowing when not to reach out, when not to chase, when to let silence do the work. And this is not about playing games, it is about respecting energy and allowing space for desire to breathe. And when both people have space, they can miss each other, and missing someone is a form of desire that strengthens connection rather than cheapens it. And this is why constant contact often dulls attraction, while thoughtful distance sharpens it. In the American cultural landscape, where instant gratification is normalized, choosing patience is a quiet rebellion, and this rebellion is attractive because it signals depth and self-respect. And when you carry yourself with this energy, you are no longer trying to convince anyone of your value, you are simply living it. And others feel that difference and respond to it, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with admiration, and sometimes with desire that grows slowly but lasts longer. Stoicism also reminds us of impermanence, and this awareness brings appreciation. And when you understand that moments and relationships are not guaranteed, you show up more fully and treat connection with care. And this care is felt in small gestures, in the way you speak, in the way you touch, in the way you pause. And those small moments often carry more intimacy than grand displays because they are sincere and grounded in awareness rather than performance at its core. Stoicism teaches alignment between thought, word, and action, and in Relationships, this alignment creates trust, and trust is the foundation of deep intimacy, because without trust, desire becomes anxious and guarded, and with trust, desire relaxes and opens, and when desire opens, it becomes playful, curious, and expressive without losing respect. And this balance is where intimacy thrives, and where silence and words work together rather than against each other. When you learn to be comfortable alone, you stop settling for connection that drains you and start choosing connection that nourishes you, and this choice changes everything because it shifts relationships from need to preference, and preference is empowering because it allows you to walk away without bitterness and stay without fear. And this energy is deeply attractive because it is rare and authentic. Stoic motivation is not about suppressing emotion, it is about channeling it. And in intimacy, this means allowing desire to rise without letting it control your decisions. And this creates a sense of grounded passion, a steady fire rather than a flash. And this fire warms rather than burns, and people feel safe near it. And safety combined with desire creates a powerful bond that goes beyond surface level attraction. As you move through relationships with this mind, that you become less reactive, more intentional, and more present. And presence is the greatest gift you can offer another person, because it says, I am here with you, not distracted, not chasing something else. And this presence deepens intimacy because it allows both people to relax into the moment. And when both can relax, connection deepens naturally without force. In the end, Stoicism in relationships is not about distance or coldness. It is about clarity, and clarity allows love to grow without illusion, and desire to exist without chaos, and silence to speak without words. And when you embody this way of being, you stop trying to be attractive and simply become grounded, and grounded people are magnetic because they remind others of something they have forgotten: how to feel peace, strength, and connection at the same time. And that combination is rare and powerful and unforgettable.